Hello and welcome back to me. Today I've had a little bit of a rest, a little break, because I had an exam that lasted for a couple of days, and then I was like, I'm finished with university, I will have a break and do nothing for like 3 days. But I'm back, hello, and I'm back with possibly the least high effort video I could possibly film, which is books I've recently added to my TBR. Not even books I've bought necessarily, or books that I've read, books that I recommend. They're just books that I'm interested in, that you might also be interested in. So I'm literally just going to go through the books that I've added most recently to my want to read shelf on the Storygraph. Tell you a bit about them. It's very exciting. Also, I got this idea, I think I first watched Emma from Drinking by My Shelf doing it, and then recently Lana from Lana Ex Libris did it, and I was like, that sounds like fun. I'm not feeling very energetic in terms of ideas, so this is what we're gonna do. So first, the most recent thing that I've added to my TBR is Land of Big Numbers by T-Ping Chen. This I saw on Jessie's channel, Bowties and Books. I love their channel so much. They always recommend really amazing, like underrated literary fiction, but also a lot of like fantasy and sci-fi by authors of colour, which I love, and they're also often really queer and amazing. So yeah, I love their recommendations, and this is a short story collection, which I think the only link between all the stories is that they are all set in China, and they essentially just are little mini stories of different people's lives in China, and I really love short story collections that have a kind of like one link and are otherwise really quite diverse in like their themes and like the genre almost. I love kind of reading through a short story collection and it being really different every time. That really excites me, and yeah, so this one sounds fun, and also the covers that I've seen are beautiful. I saw it in Waterstones the other day and I was like, hello, hello. And another short story collection that Jessie recommended in the same video is Sorryland by Sam Cohen. This is very similar in the sense that it's a lot of short stories that are not connected in any way, apart from they all have a character called Sarah. I don't know. And apparently it's, I don't know, it's queer, there's dark stuff. I can't really remember, but it sounds really fun, and the way that Jessie described it, I was like, yeah. The last recommendation from that video, I can't remember what specific video it was, but I will link it down below if I can find it, is Dream Country by Shannon Gibson. This is about I think a refugee from Liberia who moves to Minnesota in the US, and is about kind of like relationships between Liberian refugees and kind of other Black African refugees and Black Americans, and the kind of, yeah, sort of relationships that they have, and also how they both communities suffer from racism but in different ways, and also kind of have how they interact with each other, and yeah, it just sounds really interesting and is a kind of topic that I know nothing about, so I was like, I will check that out. Then a book that Jen Campbell mentioned, I think in her April wrap-up maybe, is Sanatorium by Abby Palmer, which is apparently a kind of non-fiction memoir kind of poetry book about health. I should look up the kind of synopsis before I talk about it because I can't really remember what this one was about. Yeah, as far as I can tell, this is a kind of non-fiction book about disability, and kind of, it says it moves through contrasting spaces, bathtub to thermal pool, land to water, day to night, interlacing memoir, poetry and meditations on the body. And yeah, I love non-fiction that's kind of like lots of different genres and kind of crossing boundaries between different things, and that sounds really good. And also I want to read more about disability, so it sounds great. Then we have The First Woman by Jennifer Nansubuga Makumbi, which won the Jalak Prize, and there were so many good books on that shortlist, and I can't remember any of the others, but it was a great shortlist, and this was the winner. I got an email from the Jalak Prize being like, or from somewhere, saying, this is our winner, and I was like, well, now I need to read it. I don't know anything about it, I just know that it won that prize. I will read it. I think it's historical fiction. I'm not sure. Then we have a book that I actually have bought, The Anthropocene Reviewed. Basically, I saw John Green's video on this, like on the day of its publication, and he was getting really emotional, and I was like, you know what? I don't know why I haven't pre-ordered this yet, because I love the podcast, I love watching Vlogbrothers videos, and I'm not like the biggest fan of John Green's YA fiction, but I did love Tells All the Way Down, and I'm really excited about this because, like I said, I love the podcast that this comes from, and yeah, I went and ordered a signed edition on the release day straight after watching the video. I don't know why I didn't pre-order it, but here it is. Then another book that I have already bought is This One Sky Day by Leonie Ross. I've had this on my radar for a while, and I think Simon from Savage Reads mentioned it in one of his videos or on Instagram or something, and saying that he loved it, and instantly I was like, that's all I need to buy this, because sprayed edges. I mean, I love this cover. I saw it and I was like, this is beautiful. I don't really know what this is about, like, at all. I'm pretty sure it's based in the Caribbean, or the author's from the Caribbean somewhere. Yeah, I don't know what this is about. I think it might be historical fiction. Simon said it was good. It has a gorgeous cover and sprayed edges. I don't need to know anymore. Then two books that Grace from GK Reads mentioned in the same vlog, Sorryland by Rivers Solomon and Infinite Country by Patricia Engel. So Sorryland is about something. So Sorryland is about a woman escaping from a cult, and apparently Grace said that she didn't really like it because it gets quite like supernatural, and that gets like quite literal instead of being implied, and I'm always here for some creepy ghosty shit, or whatever it is, monsters, I don't care. And also Rivers Solomon is a writer that I've heard amazing things about. I have one of their books, The Deep, that I need to read, and I want to read this one too. Then Infinite Country is a book that I've heard a lot of amazing things about, but it wasn't until I heard Grace talking about it that I actually finally got pushed over the edge, and was like, fine, I'll read it. And yeah, it's about a Colombian family who are kind of dealing with deportation in different ways, and moving around from country to country. I'm not entirely sure. It sounds great though, and I want to read it. Then another book partially influenced by Grace. We have very similar reading tastes, so if she likes something, I'm like, I want to read it. It's One of Them by Musa Okongwa. I've also heard Hannah from Let's Talk About Books Baby talk about this, and it sounds amazing. So this is Musa Okongwa's memoir from the time he was at Eton, and I don't know, I get really interested in like kind of like the secret lives of the elite in Britain, and it's quite unique, the kind of how class operates in UK, and how it intersects with race. I just have a feeling about this one that it will be like amazing and I will love it. Then we have Minor Detail by Adania Shibli. I think it was Kieran from KD Books, his review of this, that was like, you need to read this. This is, I think it's been longlisted for the Booker International Prize this year, which is not one that I tend to follow, but I'm kind of interested in it this year because I really want to read more translated fiction. And yeah, this is about a Palestinian woman who is kind of attacked by some soldiers, and then it follows someone else kind of being impacted by that event in some way. And yeah, I'm just interested, and especially with, you know, like what's going on in Palestine at the moment, I thought that this would be a good one to kind of read now. And as that's still a kind of situation that I'm trying to find out more about, so yes. Then a book that didn't come from Booktube, I know, an absolute miracle. This was actually mentioned to me by my mum because it's a book that she wants to read. It's called Green Unpleasant Land by Karina Fowler, and the subtitle is Creative Responses to Rural England's Colonial Connections. I think it's written by the person who did a report on like the National Trust's history of like being linked with colonialism and racism, which is obviously a lot because, you know, like all the stately homes in Britain were funded by, you know, like slavery and riches from colonialism. This sounds like a really interesting concept. I don't know much about it, but it sounds fun. It's another Grace recommendation, people. It's Ways to Disappear by Idra Novi. So this, I don't know much about it. I still can't remember what it's actually about, apart from I think it has something to do with translation and like translating books, and it has like, that's a centre part of the plot and kind of like the themes. And I'm always here for books about translation because I find it fascinating, and I think that fiction and kind of culture that explores it is really, really interesting, and I want to read more about it. So yeah, and I think this one's also kind of like slightly sort of thrilling and maybe quite plot driven, so I'm really excited. And finally, two books that were recommended by Cherry from Cherry Actually Reads. I love her, she's wonderful. They are These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong and True Crime by Samantha Kolesnik. So These Violent Delights is a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in 1920s Shanghai. Like, I just love that idea, but there's also like a kind of like supernatural dark monstery type element to it, and that makes me very excited. So yeah, also the sequel has just come out, I think, or is about to come out this year, and everyone was getting all excited about it and being like, I can't wait to read this book, and I'm like, okay, finally I will read the first one, and yeah, it just sounds really fun. And then True Crime, I can't remember much about this apart from Cherry said it was incredibly disturbing and creepy, and all the horrible things happen, and it's only 150 pages long, so that makes me want to read it, because anything that is like short and then like packs a really like horrible punch, it's able to like give you all the tension and all the scariness and all the kind of build up and the payoff in that short amount of time. I think that short horror stories are the best, and like one of the hardest things to pull off, because there's so much you have to pack in, but if you do it well, the impact is incredible. So yeah, I'm really excited about that. So yes, those are all the books that have been added to my to read pile from the last couple of months, and hopefully I will read them at some point. Who knows? So I hope you enjoyed this. I will see you very soon for my probably underwhelming May wrap up, because I have not read as much as I wanted to in May, but it happens, you know, we move. And yeah, anyway, I will see you soon. Thank you for watching.